And we're live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream tonight. We're just doing a hangout / discussion stream tonight. I just wanted to have a chance to chat with all of you and make sure that I did get a stream in at some point this week. So really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you all for watching. There's a few different things I want to talk about, and then obviously whatever you guys come up with in the chat we can talk about as well. There's not a whole lot going on in the NHL world these days, but there's certainly plenty to talk about when it comes to World Juniors coming up, when we talk to NHL trying to get some sort of season off the ground, which still has not been agreed to. And then there's some other things I'd like to touch on as well. But see a good number of people in the chat already. I want to make sure I say hi. So Logan, Mike, Ray Bro, Alex, other Alex, Red Rubber, Niners fan. What is going on, guys? Thank you all so much for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Hey, Caden, Devin, what's going on? Jack's here. What's going on? Welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you guys all for stopping in and watching. Really appreciate it. So, Sharaf, welcome, man. So yeah, there were a few things I wanted to touch on. I'm probably only going to be alive. I'm probably only going to be live for about an hour or so tonight. Brandon, what is going on? Welcome. Seth B, what a legend in the chat. Seth, welcome, man. So I want to get into the topics here that I want to touch on. And Brandon brings up a good point, a good question here. Any thoughts on the Blackhawks front office move? So basically what happened today is the Blackhawks announced that they've kind of restructured their whole management of the team. Basically, they have a new CEO. They have a president of business operations, and then they have a president of hockey operations, which also happens to be Stan Bowman, who is the general manager of the team. So Stan Bowman, I guess, kind of gets a promotion, while they also have a new CEO and a new business operations manager as well. Hey, Caden, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Everyone, give Caden some hype in the chat. New sub, even though he barely saw vids, he says I'm a sub. So big props to Caden, and definitely want to give him a shout out in the chat. Thank you, I appreciate it. Lightning, so yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about like the management side of things, but the thing that stood out to me is Stan Bowman kind of getting a promotion. This is a guy that Blackhawks fans have really fallen out of favor with. He's fallen out of favor with Blackhawks fans. Since he's taken over the team, we've kind of seen the decline of the Chicago Blackhawks, going from a Stanley Cup team in 2015 to a team that really shouldn't have even made the playoffs last year and probably won't make the playoffs this coming season. Although in a shortened year, I guess anything can happen. But they're kind of in a rebuild now, which is interesting given the fact that they did win a series last year in the qualifying round, but it's just kind of a restructure here for the Blackhawks from a management standpoint, which, again, I don't know a ton about that side of things, but it's interesting that they would kind of shake things up at the top like that for sure. Logan says, Lightning playing the first game back. Yes, well, they're the defending Stanley Cup champs. The defending Stanley Cup winner usually does play the first night back because, they have to raise the banner, and they're just always kind of usually the marquee game when the league does come back for the next season. So that's really not surprising, but obviously a chance to see the Lightning on probably national television, and they're definitely going to showcase them. Let's see. You feel that Bowman takes too much flack? Well, yeah, the salary cap issues don't help, certainly, but Bowman has not done all that great of a job with that Blackhawks team. He's definitely made some questionable moves. And, I mean, if you're looking at it from a rebuilding standpoint, they kind of need to go full rebuild if that's what they're going to do. What I'm worried about with the Blackhawks is that they're kind of caught in this middle path where they're trying to hang on to veterans while also simultaneously trying to bring in new guys. And being caught in the middle like that very rarely works out. I think if you're gonna go rebuild, you've got to go full on rebuild, or you've got to try and be a playoff team and go full on win now mode. Like, you can't be caught in the middle. That very, very rarely actually works out in favor of the team. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Chicago. I personally would like to see them build around Debrinket, Kubalik, and Doc, and kind of move on from some of the older guys and really go full rebuild. And I think it would be I think a quick rebuild for Chicago, kind of a New York Rangers type, where it happened very quickly and all of a sudden they were right back up again. So that's what I would do if I were the Blackhawks, but I'm not the GM. Stan Bowman is, and we'll see what they do. 100% Dork, what is going on? NFL Nation, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. Hey, Mark's in the chat. What's going on, Mark? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. Rob's here. Let's see. Mike and Julie, what is going on? Welcome. Living La Barbara. Wow, we got a lot of people in the chat, guys. So thank you for that. Really, really appreciate each and every one of you watching. Let's see. Alex says hot take, but you think the Canadians will make it to the playoffs? I don't even think that's a hot take, Alex. Honestly, I think the Canadians have a very real shot at the playoffs this year. That Canadian division is going to be tough, though. That is going to be a very, very tough division. With the exception of Ottawa, who I think is pretty clearly the bottom team there. Other than that, you've got 6 other real solid teams. So the Canadians, I don't think are a guarantee, but I do think they have a really good shot at making it. Hey, thank you, Mike and Julie. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, NFL Nation. I mean, if you can rebuild correctly like the Avalanche have or like the Rangers have, I mean, it's, you can come out of it on the other end much, much better for sure. CL, what is going on? Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. So Logan brought up the new channel, and that is something I definitely wanted to get to. In this stream. Black and Gold Weekly. So if you haven't heard the news yet, I have another channel up that's going to be strictly Boston Bruins content. Obviously on this channel I cover the entire NHL, but I am from Massachusetts. I am a Boston Bruins fan as my favorite team. So that channel is going to be strictly for Bruins stuff. And basically, I think how that's going to work and how I'm planning on doing that is it's going to be like a weekly show, a show, podcast, whatever you want to, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be every week. I'll have it. I'm probably going to have to pre-record it rather than do it live, because I can't guarantee that I'd be able to go live at the same time every week, because obviously I have a lot of other things going on, things come up. So I'm going to pre-record it. I'm going to try to have guests on as much as possible. I've already got a couple guys that I've asked who I know very well and have done hockey stuff with before. One of them being Matt, who I actually originally had planned to do this channel with, but then he got busy with other things and couldn't end up doing it, so Off the Wall Hockey kind of became my thing. But I'd like to have Matt on. I've got another friend. Well, you guys know Danny. He's a mod. He's in the chat all the time. He's my friend from college. I'm going to have him on, hopefully. But basically, it's going to be it's going to be a Bruins show once a week that I'll have drop at the same time every week. Haven't really picked a day yet, but I'm thinking probably Friday evenings, kind of a good way to end the week, I think. But and just kind of catch up with everything that happened that week before. But it's pretty much going to be a Bruins show, and it came about. If you guys care to know the backstory, so BNG Productions is kind of there is something separate from me. That they're their own thing. They're their own company. And they have a whole podcasting network. No, 100% Dork. It's not going to be on this channel. It's on my new channel, BNG or Black and Gold Weekly. Actually, I should put that in the chat if you guys want to check it out. Let me get that going. So, basically, what happened is I did a video with Top Shelf Hockey. talking about NHL trade talk. And the CEO of BNG Productions, which is their own thing, they have their own website, they have their own podcast network and all of this. Their CEO, Mark, saw me on the video with Top Shelf Hockey. And he then followed me on Twitter, subscribed to Off the Wall and all of that. And then I obviously followed him back on Twitter and stuff, and started looking more into the whole BNG thing. And I didn't know anything about it going into it. I had never seen their site before or anything, but I started looking at their articles. I started listening to some of their podcast stuff. Their biggest podcast is hang on, let me get this in the chat here. Their biggest podcast is the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast, and they have really, really good content there. So there we go. Sorry, I'm trying to do too many things at once here. I want to get the link copied in the chat. But anyway, so I started checking out their stuff, and then I saw Mark posting on Twitter about wanting to expand, especially with YouTube and digital content, and they were looking for more people to add to the team. And at first, I was kind of like, I just thought about it, but I have a lot of other stuff going on. Obviously, I have this channel. I've got the show with Steel Flyers that I'm going to be doing for them. That's going to be a big, entire NHL 2-hour show. So I wasn't sure at first if I wanted to delve into doing something else as well. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I would love to do some actual Just Bruins content, and this would be a really cool thing to get going if it wasn't too much of a time commitment. So I messaged Mark on Twitter and just inquired about what exactly he was looking for, and the big thing was YouTube, because they didn't really have a whole lot of a YouTube presence at this point, and it was pretty much just podcasts and the website. And obviously, I've been doing YouTube for quite a while now, and this is 3 years now of Off the Wall Hockey. So I'm like, well, I could certainly help you out on that aspect of things. And it all came together, and the idea now is for it to be a weekly show covering the Bruins, and I'm really, really excited to get started with that, and can't wait to get it off the ground. So this is, I'm going to put it in the chat now. This is the link to the new channel, BNG, or Black and Gold. I just call it BNG for short, but Black and Gold Weekly, which is where the show is going to be. It's going to be a Bruins show, hosted by me with guests as well. Isaac, what is going on? Welcome here. And I'm really, really excited to get it started. So if you're a Bruins fan, definitely, you'll definitely want to check that out. Even if you're not a Bruins fan, if you want to keep up on Bruins stuff or just see the show, you certainly could. You certainly could subscribe as well. But I will let you know right now, it's going to be a Bruins-centric show. Like, everything is going to be Boston Bruins. So if you're not a Bruins fan and you might not be interested in that, that's perfectly fine. But that is my latest endeavor. So obviously that's not going to take away from anything else that I'm already doing. I made a point about that when I joined Steel Flyers to do the show there. And I'm going to make the same point with this show as well, that I'm just adding more and more things to what I'm doing. I'm not taking away from anything. So Off the Wall Hockey is still going to be Off the Wall Hockey. The Steel Flyers show is absolutely going to be 100% exactly what it's supposed to be when that fully gets going. And this show is going to be a Bruins show as well, talking about my favorite team. And really excited to get this started as well. So a lot of things going on here. I'm trying to get as many different things going as I can. I want to be doing hockey content full time. Obviously that it takes a long time for that to happen through one avenue. But I think if I can stack these things on top of each other and have these different means of getting myself out there and doing these different shows and and talking more and more and getting more and more content out there, I think that's really how you how you can really start getting to the point where I'm just doing hockey content all the time. So a huge thank you to Mark for having me be a part of the BNG team. I'm really, really excited to start that, and it's just going to be another great hockey-related thing that I'm going to try and put out the best content possible for you guys. So if you are interested, I will put the link in the chat one more time in case you missed it. Would really appreciate subs to that, and that show should be coming soon. I think beginning of January will probably be the first episode, but we'll see exactly what happens. As you know, maybe I'll get a teaser or kind of like a channel intro out before then. But yeah, that's the new big thing that I had. I know I've missed a lot in the chat, guys. I apologize. I want to give Brandon for subscribing. New subscriber, Brandon Sikora in the chat, a real big thank you and some hype in the chat. If you haven't given Brandon some hype yet in the chat, please do. I see that Perlo is here. I'm trying to not miss any. I'm trying not to miss everything. Isaac, thank you. HTH in the chat. John, what is going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping in. Yeah, Bruins are going to be an interesting team this year. I definitely think we're going to see a step back from where they were last season. But I still think they'll be a decent team, but I certainly don't see them winning the President's Trophy again, that's for sure. Salty Wings and Avs fan, what is going on? Sasha, what is going on? Welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Oiler93, welcome. What laptop do I have? I have an old Dell 5000 series, but it's very slow now, and I probably need a new one. But that's what I have right now. CL, I said hi to CL. Yeah, Brandon, I think they're probably going to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be a top team like as far as league wide goes, like they were last season. And they're playing in a very tough division as well. As we look at what the divisional alignments are most likely to be, they basically got thrown into the Metro, which we know is very, very difficult. So, yeah, it's going to depend a lot on how much time Pastrnak and Marchand miss. If they miss a large chunk of the season, I think the Bruins are in trouble. If they only miss like the first few weeks or maybe only the first month, they might be okay. Hey, John, thank you very much. I appreciate that. John, we got John gonna be making an appearance on the channel here in the next few days once I get the video edited. Obviously, there's still a few off-season recap videos that I have not done yet, Toronto being one of them, and that is because I'm going to be having John be a part of that video for Toronto's off-season recap. So, huge thank you to John for that, and HCH says he's going to send me that tonight, which is fantastic, which means that the Toronto video should be out in the next few days. I'll probably drop it either Friday or Saturday. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Who goes off in the World Junior Classic? Man, it's tough to tell, Salty, because when you look at the Team USA and Team Canada, they both are absolutely stacked. So I feel like almost any players on those teams could end up having a huge junior tournament. But I definitely think you're going to see some big names for Canada and for Team USA put up some serious points in this tournament. Hey, Eddie, what is going on? Welcome to the stream, man. Thank you so much for being here. Sasha, yeah, we're actually getting a huge snowstorm tonight. I don't know if it's started yet, but last time I looked outside, it wasn't snowing yet. But overnight tonight and into tomorrow, we're getting a huge snowstorm here. We're looking at 12 inches of snow, if not a little bit more where I live. So it's going to be the first real snow of the year for sure. It's going to be interesting. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I definitely think Kirby Doc is going to have a big... I mean, the fact that after playing a full year in the NHL, he's going back to play this junior tournament, I mean, he's in position to absolutely light it up for Team Canada. Hey, XD Flash, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it's supposed to be starting to snow fairly soon here, but we'll see what it does. I think it was gonna be actually looking at the local weather. It could start any time now that we're past 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'm sure further north from me, I'm in southeastern Massachusetts. I'm sure if you go further north, you're gonna get even bigger snowfall totals for sure. Um, Kirby, Doc, or Alex Debrinket, if you were to name a captain. Man, that's tough because Doc's only been in the league for a season, so I think it's a little early to be throwing a letter on Kirby Doc, but um, you know, I think Doc could be a guy that would be captain material down the road. Alex Debrinket's obviously had a little bit more time in the league, um, but they're both so young. I think it's a little early to be throwing letters on either of them. In my opinion, I'd let them mature and get a little bit older before you start thinking about putting a C on their shoulder, and that comes with a lot of added responsibility and pressure. Let's see. Hey, Red Rubber. I mean, we're just so used to it. Like I've lived I've lived in Massachusetts my whole life, so I'm just so used to it. This is a normal winter for us. Perlo says you think Doc will be the difference. The U.S. has the goaltending though. Yeah, U.S. has extremely good goaltending. Spencer Knight is. I love Spencer Knight. I think he's going to be a legit star. A legit star for in the NHL, for the Team USA at the juniors, for the Florida Panthers down the line, unless they trade him for whatever reason, which I hope they don't do. I think he's going to be a tremendous goaltender. But Kirby Doc, I mean, he has a chance to be the MVP of the tournament. I really think he is. Honestly, I don't even. It's kind of unfair to have him playing in a junior tournament. I don't think he really even should be. I don't even think he really should be down playing juniors because, like, he's a good NHL player already. Never mind him playing a junior tournament. Doc has the chance to just absolutely light it up. Hey, Evan, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Avi with the 2. Get that dono hype in the chat for Avi. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that, man. I am in the semifinals for fantasy. I'm the number 1 seed heading into the playoffs, which actually really really worries me because I was last year too and didn't win a single game in the playoffs. So yeah, I'm hoping that it goes a little better this year. Yeah, Team USA's goaltending's phenomenal. Dustin Wolf looks really, really good as well. I'm biased towards Spencer Knight because he plays at Boston College, so I'm really pumped to see him. Hey, Isaac, thank you so much for subscribing. Really, really appreciate that. Give Isaac some hype in the chat. But yeah, they've got a great 1-2 punch and goal. But I mean, they're a loaded team, but so is Team Canada. It's gonna be really, really fun to see. It's gonna be really fun to see which team comes out on top. I think Canada probably takes gold. But the USA can certainly give them a run for their money, particularly if their goaltending gets hot. We've seen enough tournaments and playoffs to know that goaltending can steal the show. And if Team USA's goalies get really hot, they could potentially steal it. But I'm going to say Canada probably wins gold, but it's going to be a really fun tournament. Hey, Nick P, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping in, man. Really, really appreciate it. When hockey starts, will I do a fantasy league? Yes, I do plan on doing a NHL fantasy league for this season. Hopefully enough people want to sign up to make it worth it, but I think with the channel as big as it is now, I don't think that will be a problem. In fact, I think the problem is going to be there's going to be so many people that might want to do it and there's only a limited number of spots in the league. Maybe I'll set up one or two. Maybe I'll set up a second league and have off the wall 1 and off the wall 2 or something. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it yet because the return to play is not official yet. Generally, I use Yahoo, Logan, but I also have an ESPN account, so I could use either. I'll ask what more people want, and then do it that way once I know what you guys want. But that was another thing I wanted to talk about. The return to play is not official yet, and we are at December 16th, and this is starting to worry me a little bit. Obviously, we've heard a lot from insiders. We've heard a lot from guys. We heard a lot from guys like Elliot Friedman and Pierre LeBrun and Frank Saravelli and all of the insider scoop guys. We've heard 56-game season. We've heard January 13th. We've heard, what the divisional alignments are supposed to be. But I think an important point that I want to make is that none of this is official yet. Until this is voted on and agreed to by the players and by the owners, this could all still fall apart. And with the longer this goes on, the less likely January 13th becomes as an actual start date. If they go beyond this week and they don't have something agreed upon by the end of this week, I think you're looking at deeper into January or maybe even February 1st if they can get something else worked out. But I've seen a lot of people, people on Twitter and a lot of hockey pages posting, hockey's back January 13th and posting like, this is what the divisional alignments are going to be. And I'm like, well, yes, that's the plan right now, but that's not official yet. And I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but I haven't done any videos on the return to play stuff yet. And I'm waiting on that until it becomes official, because I don't want to put something out there and be like, this is what it's going to be, and then have it change and have the video be wrong. And I know other channels are talking about it, and I have absolutely no problem with that. And I think the smart ones are saying, like, hold on, guys, like, this isn't official yet, but this is just what the plan is right now, which is 100% true. That's absolutely a possibility that it does work out that way. But I think it's important to realize that nothing is official until it's official. And I'm kind of waiting for it to be official before I put any videos out there about this. Hey, Caroline, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping in. Really, really appreciate it. Mark says super condensed schedule. Yes, we're going to be seeing teams play 4 or 5 games a week with the new schedule. It's going to be very, very condensed. I completely agree with HGH. I do think we're going to get an NHL season. I don't think they're dumb enough to not come out with something to have a season. But I think there's a good chance it does get delayed. I agree with HGH on that one. Brandon with the 2. Get some Dono hype in the chat. Brandon, thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate that. Make sure you guys get some hype for Brandon in the chat. That is awesome. You guys know how much I appreciate every single dono from you guys. It really helps the channel so much and allows me to, continue to put more and more time into doing this. And I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm with HCH. I think there's a chance if it's not done by the end of the week that it gets delayed, but I don't think it's going to get canceled. There should be some sort of hockey season this year. We just don't know 100% what that's going to look like yet. And while there's a lot of rumors out there, and a lot of ideas of what it's going to be, nothing is official yet. And I think that's an important thing to put out, is that nothing is official yet until the votes come in and the players say yes and the owners say yes. Until then, we're just speculating here. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a group of owners who might not even want to play at all. I really think that there's a group of owners who would rather just eat it and start fresh in 21-22. But I don't think there's enough to end up canceling the whole season. But I think there are certainly some owners out there who don't even want to do this and just want to start fresh in a new season. But yeah, there's still a lot of protocols and scheduling and all this stuff that still needs to be worked out. Lincoln, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Let's see. Someone had a good question. Let me. Oh yeah, Isaac. Who going to be the biggest surprise of the season? That's a phenomenal question. That's a phenomenal question, and I can tell you this: there's going to be a surprise team this year. Anytime there's a shortened season, all it takes is a team to get hot. All it takes is a team to rip off eight games in a row or 10 games in a row, and all of a sudden you are set up near the top of the standings. And you can end up being a lot better than you're expected to be. On the same token, if you have a bad stretch, you can tank your season real quickly, especially if there's only 56 games. You could tank your season really quickly with one bad couple of weeks and be digging yourself out of a hole for the rest of the year. So I'm not sure who this team's going to be, but I will say there's going to be a surprise team this year who ends up being a lot better than most people think they would. And I think there's going to be a surprise team this year who ends up doing really, really poorly, even though they were expected to be a playoff level team, probably end up missing. So it's going to be interesting. I definitely think the Kings have a chance to kind of surprise people. I think the Kings could be a team that, I think they could be a team that ends up being a lot better than you would have thought at the start of the year. Do I think the Stars will clutch up and go back to the Stanley Cup? I do not, Lincoln. I think the Stars had a very, very good postseason last year, and they rode a lot of momentum to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't think they're going to do that again. And the big thing with Dallas is they are going to miss Ben Bishop and Tyler Seguin. More importantly, Tyler Seguin, for a large majority of this coming season. Seguin is out until the beginning of April after having surgery. So that's a big blow to the offense of Dallas. And personally, I think Dallas will probably make the playoffs, but I don't see them going as deep as they did last season. Let's see. Jets are going to be scary good. Best goalie in the league. Well, the problem with the Jets is they still have no defense, Avi. The Jets have no defense. And I did a video today about goaltenders. You cannot just have one goaltender in a condensed season. Connor Hellebuck cannot play 50 out of the 56 games, especially when you're going to be playing in back-to-back situations probably multiple times a week. The teams that are going to do good in a condensed season are going to be the teams that have two starting level goaltenders and don't have to rely on one guy. I think a team like Winnipeg is actually in trouble because they are going to wear Connor Hellebuck into the ground and they don't have a reliable backup. Laurent Brossoit has not shown really at the NHL level that he can play a significant number of games and win those games. What I really like is what Montreal did. Now, Montreal is known for playing Carey Price like 60-plus games every year. Carey Price plays almost every game for the Canadiens. They knew that they were coming up on a condensed schedule. They knew that they needed to get a backup goaltender who could actually play some games for Carey Price. And what did they do? They went out and they got Jake Allen and brought in a reliable backup for Price. I really like that move. You're going to see Price play less games. You're going to see Allen play a substantial amount of games. And Price is going to be healthy and rested for the playoffs if Montreal is able to take a playoff spot in the Canadian division. So, excuse me. I really like that kind of move. And I think the teams that rely too heavily on one goaltender, it's going to be a bit of a disadvantage this year, and they're going to have to play their backups more than they normally do. Do I think the Penguins should start rebuilding immediately? I mean, the Penguins are headed for a rebuild. I think we all know it. We all know where Pittsburgh's headed. They've got an aging core. They've been a first-round exit in the playoffs the past couple of years. I still think Pittsburgh, with Crosby and Malkin and Letang, I think Pittsburgh can hang around for another year or two as kind of a playoff team. But I don't think they're a cup contender anymore, and I think they're headed for a rebuild sooner rather than later. I just think it will probably be another year or two before they go into full rebuild mode. But they're all about the I don't see them as a cup contender anymore, and I really think they're quickly headed downhill. And I think the Washington Capitals are only a year or two behind where Pittsburgh's at. I think 4 years down the road, you're going to see Washington starting to take the same path as their core gets older and just completely starts to unravel, and they just start losing. They're spending up to the cap. They've got players in their mid-30s, and it doesn't last forever. And eventually, you have to rebuild. That happens with every team. Hey, Jameson, Gail, Jack. Whoa, we got a bunch of new people in the chat. What is going on, everybody? Gail, welcome. Jameson, Jack, Krishna, what is going on? Hey, we got the whole group in the chat tonight. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Perlo thinks that the Penguins missed the playoffs this year. I have to agree with you, Perlo. I think Pittsburgh's going to miss the playoffs this year. I especially in that division, it's going to be really, really difficult. My day has been pretty good, Jack. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think Boston's somewhat headed there as well, although Boston does have a very good young defense. So I think Boston might be able to save the sinking ship because they've got guys like McAvoy and Carlo and Pastrnak. But still, Boston's headed down too as Bergeron, Marchand, and those guys, Krejci, those guys all get older. The Flyers will absolutely be a playoff team. Isaac, I don't see the Flyers really have any chance of missing the playoffs. Hey, Matt's here. What's going on, Matt? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, new channel. Excuse me. I talked about the new channel earlier in the stream. That was one of the first things I talked about. But yeah, it's basically going to be a new Bruins show, a weekly Bruins show that drops once a week. I will put the link in the chat again to the new channel. It's Black and Gold Weekly. It's going to be on the Black and Gold Weekly channel. It's going to be Bruins content every week. It's basically going to be like a show or a podcast. An hour to an hour and a half long, I think, is most likely what I'm going to do. And if you want to subscribe to that channel, I will put it in the chat so you can hit that sub. And that's going to be coming out once a week. So I'm doing that on top of everything that I normally do, obviously, with the Steel Flyers show, Off the Wall Hockey show, and everything that I normally do on this channel. I'm just adding to it. Thoughts on New Hook? New Hook is very, very good, Salty. New Hook is very, very good. Cannot wait. Cannot wait to see him in the NHL eventually. I think he's going to be really, really good. Let's see. I know I'm missing stuff. Any predictions for Vegas? Brendan, thank you for the comment. Or for the question, excuse me. Vegas will still be a playoff team. I mean, they've got one of the best goaltending duos in the entire NHL with Fleury and with Leonard. They obviously added Pietrangelo to the back end. I do worry about their forward depth, especially down the middle. They're in trouble down the middle where it's William Karlsson, and that's pretty much it. But excuse me, I don't know. I don't have COVID. I know that. I feel way too I don't feel sick or anything, but I just had that weird thing like right in your throat there. But hopefully I'm good now. But I still think Vegas it will be a playoff team. But I do think that there may not be the high level contender that they were for the past couple of years. I mean, Chandler Stevenson's a bottom six guy. He's never played higher than the third or fourth line. And White Cloud's a defenseman, so he doesn't really help them down the middle. They don't have a second line center. I mean, Chandler Stevenson is not even close to a second line center. He's a fourth line guy. Nosik's a fourth line guy. Nicholas Waugh, I look at as more of a third line guy. So they need Cody Glass. I think they need Cody Glass to really take that next step and show why he was a top 10 draft pick in the league. And I think if Cody Glass moves into that second line center role and can actually produce, I mean, he only had 12 points last year. But if he can take that next step, I think they'll be okay. Hey, Coach Plays, what is going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate you stopping in. The Rangers are going to be good, Avi. The Rangers are going to be good this year. They've got so much young talent. Then they've got, Panarin and Zibanejad, who are absolute superstars. I really think the Rangers are definitely going to take that next step this season, especially with Shesterkin in goal for the full season. The Rangers are going to be really, really good. Let's see. Sutton is here. What is going on, Sutton? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And HGH mentioned earlier, not much of a hot take, but maybe bold. I'm going to hit 10K subs by the end of 2021. Let me tell you, John, that would be absolutely incredible if it did happen. I don't know if it is or not, but I really, really would love to hit 10K by the end of 2021. And that's certainly a next big goal of this channel for sure. And I'm certainly going to be putting in the work and going for it for sure. Isles ranked 17 in power rankings. How? The Isles, I think, are one of those, I feel like they should be a little higher than 17th, but, man, there's a lot of good teams now, and the Isles had a very good postseason last year. But if you remember in the regular season, they were fighting for their playoff lives by the end of the regular season. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the Isles are definitely a good team. Don't get me wrong about that. The Islanders are going to be good. But I feel like they should be ranked maybe somewhere around 12 or 13, somewhere around there. 17, I do agree, is too low. But overall, I don't think that they're one of those elite teams up with like the Colorados and the Tampa Bays, but they are a good team for sure. Let's see. Sutton is here. Isaac, I used to have TikTok, but I don't use it anymore. I haven't used it since July, and I really don't plan on doing it again. It was fun for a while, but it wasn't for me long term. I got bored of it fairly quickly. Does Nolan Patrick play again? I do think so, yes. Nolan Patrick should be back. And I think he'll be able to play this season for Philadelphia. Georgiev and Shesterkin are going to be a great tandem in goal for the New York Rangers, Brandon. I absolutely agree with you on that. Thoughts on Shotgun Jake? I'm not sure who you're referring to by Shotgun Jake. I've never heard no one that I know has been referred to that before, but so I don't really know my thoughts. Yeah, Matt, they're definitely top half of the NHL. I definitely agree that 17's too low. I'd have them around like 12, 13, somewhere in there, I think. Yeah, Islanders are a solid team, Avi, absolutely. I don't think I don't think they're up there at that elite level yet. Who do I think will be the worst team next season? Next season, I mean, I don't want to say Detroit again because I really like the offseason that Detroit had. So, I feel like Detroit's going to be better. They might still finish. A team that people might not be thinking of, but I think the Anaheim Ducks have a chance to finish last. They're in a rebuilding point now, and well, let me say this. John Gibson's good enough in goal. Gibson's one of the best goalies in the league. It's just unfortunate he's stuck on such a lousy team. John Gibson's good enough to keep them out of the basement. But if anything happens to John Gibson where he misses time, I think the Ducks are headed to the bottom. I think the Blackhawks... See, the Blackhawks are talented up front, which makes me think they won't finish last. But the goaltending is so bad. I mean, they're legitimately going into this season with two fringe NHLers as their goaltending tandem. I definitely think that they could end up being last. I mean, if Subban and Dalia can't cut it in goal at the NHL level, they're going to be in big trouble this year. So I would say Ducks, Blackhawks have a chance. Obviously, Detroit has a chance just because there's so much in a rebuilding state still. Oh, Jake Virtanen. Okay, yes, because I completely forgot about that. HGH. Thank you. So how Jake Virtanen? He's back with Vancouver. I think Virtanen will probably show a little bit of progression this year, but I still kind of see him as a third line guy. I don't really think he gets much better than that. I just think I see him more as a third line guy, but I think he could be a very productive third line guy. Matt asks, if Boychuk retired 1 to 2 weeks sooner, do the Isles keep Taves? Honestly, I think so, Matt. I think they would have been able to keep Taves, or at least potentially keep Taves if they knew that Boychuk was going to have to retire. But obviously they made the Taves trade, then a couple weeks later found out about Boychuk, and now all of a sudden they have a good amount of cap space open. But I think they could have tried to keep Devon Taves on a one-year deal if they knew that Boychuk wasn't going to be there and that his $6 million would be coming off the cap. But obviously they didn't know that at the time. They made the Taves trade. They got a couple of second-round picks for him. He's now in Colorado, and then Boychuk ended up retiring, and now the Islanders do have enough cap space pretty easily to re-sign Matt Barzal and can also try and bring in a depth guy as well, whether that's bringing back Matt Martin up front or whether it's bringing back Andy Green on the back end. They can add another guy as well or bring back another guy if they so wish to use that cap space. Hey, D-Wade, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, HTH, I agree that the Penguins can stick around as long as they have Crosby and Malkin. And obviously, Gensel, if he's healthy, is going to put up big-time goal numbers. But they really don't have much scoring depth. Those guys on their third and fourth lines don't really put up a lot of points. And I have serious questions about their defense. The fact that they brought in Cody Ceci is just mind-boggling to me. The fact that they traded for Mike Matheson, who's on a terrible contract, made absolutely no sense. And we have no idea what their goaltending is going to be like. Tristan Jarry, who they're banking on now to be the starter, has never been a full-time starter in the NHL. He obviously had a very, very good season last year, but he split with Murray and never really had to be the guy. So, I don't know. Pittsburgh's headed downhill. They're going to be in a rebuild mode within the next few years. There's just no way around it. Crosby and Malkin, I think, are good enough to keep them around for another year or two. But beyond that, Pittsburgh's going to be headed to rebuild land sooner rather than later. And I don't think they even make the playoffs this year. Excuse me. I think Philadelphia is better than them. I think the two New York teams are better than them. I think Boston's better than them. So there's 4 teams right there. I think Washington's better than them. There's a 5th team. So that already they're already out of a playoff spot at that point if those 5 teams finish ahead of them. So that's just my opinion on the Pittsburgh Penguins. HGH asking for the link. I'll put it in the chat. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this pulled back up. Also, Mark, thank you so much for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping in, and really, really appreciate you watching the channel and watching this stream. And can't wait to get the show going with BNG for sure. What am I doing? Oh yeah. HGH, my apologies. I'm taking so long. I just put it in the chat for you. That's the link to the new channel, which will be the Bruins show. And that also, if you go to the channel, I have the Twitter for it up there, as well as the Black and Gold Hockey website as well. Yeah, they brought in 2 pylons for the D, Salty. I can't believe that Pittsburgh went out and brought in CC and Matheson. Like, they do a good thing they take a big step forward in getting rid of Jack Johnson, and do a good thing in getting Jack Johnson, and then they take 2 steps backwards by bringing in Matheson and CC. It just makes no sense to me. Hey, Stacy, what is going on? Welcome back. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Yeah, BNG is just short for Black and Gold, Logan. Obviously, the Bruins colors. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? I apologize if I miss anything in the chat. Well, Brandon said Calvin DeHaan could go back to Long Island. That would be an interesting play. I mean, DeHaan's a little bit overpaid with his contract, but that could definitely be an interesting play for sure. Yeah, Martin Marincin is still a Leaf, but no, the Martin Marincin is not going to touch the ice for the Maple Leafs this season, Eddie. They've got, I mean, the Leafs defense looks better. With Brody coming in, and with what's his name? Mikko Lehtinen. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. With Lehtinen coming in, you're looking at Brody, Riley, Muzzin, Hole, and then Lehtinen and Dermott, or Lehtinen and Sandin, or Lehtinen and Bogosian. Bogosian's coming in as well. They're all of a sudden kind of a backlog of defensemen there in Toronto. And what's his name? Marincin is not going to come close to touching the ice anymore for the Maple Leafs. I mean, Bogosian's going to play ahead of him. Sandin's going to play ahead of him. Lettinen's going to play ahead of him. I think even Liljegren could get called up before Marincin touches the ice. I don't think you're going to have to worry about seeing Martin Marincin actually playing meaningful games on the back end for the Leafs. Even, I mean, Dermott's going to play ahead of him. All of a sudden, the Leafs, the Leafs are kind of loaded on the back end now, which is interesting because that's been their biggest issue for so long. I kind of like the Leafs defense heading into this year. We'll see if it works out. But I kind of have high hopes for the Leafs D this year. I think they're going to be significantly improved. Yeah, Brandon, the Leafs D has definitely been helped this offseason. Brody is a really nice veteran addition. Bogosian played really well. Bogosian played really well for the Tampa Bay Lightning in a bottom pair type role for them. I think, again, he's going to be a number 7 type guy for the Leafs. And that's a great role for him. And he's a really solid at that place, playing limited minutes near the bottom of your lineup. So, yeah, I think the Leafs have the Leafs have certainly improved this offseason. I don't know if they're going to come in first, Logan. I actually think Vancouver is probably going to win the Canadian division. I have really high hopes for the Canucks this year. But I do think the Leafs are definitely a playoff team. Is Giroux still in his prime? No, Isaac. Giroux is not the player that he was a few years ago. He's still very, very good. But I would not say he's in his prime anymore. I would say Couturier and Konechny are kind of the prime guys now for Philadelphia. Even Konechny might not have even reached his prime yet. He's still on the younger side. Couturier, I think, is kind of the guy up front now. Obviously, you know, Giroux still plays first line. Voracek still plays up there. But I would say as Voracek and Giroux get older, they're kind of a little past their primes. And guys like Konechny and Couturier, and obviously Provorov on the back end will be taking over. Yeah, those are young guys that will get a serious NHL look, Brandon, for sure, and are kind of coming up the pipeline defensively for the Blackhawks. So I definitely think that though Chicago's going to want to move on from a guy like Calvin DeHaan, a veteran guy like that, who if they're legitimately going into a rebuild mode here and trying to have a quick rebuild, then a guy like DeHaan is absolutely the kind of guy that you move on from. Andrew Shaw, you move on from. Zach Smith, you move on from. Those are guys that the Blackhawks are going to be looking to push out. And they're going to be looking to bring young pieces in. Let's see. Can Hughes and Heischer somewhat make the Devils competitive along with Blackwood? I mean, man, I think the Devils are a little bit a ways. I think the Devils are a little bit a ways, honestly. Their defense is just so bad. Their defense is so bad. I really do. I think the Devils have some good pieces and they've drafted fairly well. But I just, man, I can't see the Devils really being a playoff competitive level team. I really don't. I think they're still a little ways away there in New Jersey, and 2 years from now it might be a totally different story because I really like Mackenzie Blackwood. I think he's a tremendous young goaltender, and they have some really good pieces there. But the whole team is not there yet, and they're still a couple years away. DMV, what is going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping in. Appreciate it. Yeah, if Smith starts the year on LTIR or spends the whole year on LTIR, then obviously that wouldn't be a problem then, Brandon, for sure. But if they're truly going into rebuild mode, then it's going to be time to it's going to be time to really move on from some of those veteran guys. Is Reimer and Mrazek a good enough goalie duo? I mean, they're certainly good enough to get the Hurricanes to the playoffs, CL. I mean, the Hurricanes have made the playoffs each of the past 2 seasons. They went to the Eastern Conference Final back in 2019. I mean, they're certainly a good team, and that Reimer and Mrazek can win enough games to be a playoff team without a doubt. My question about Reimer and Mrazek is, are they good enough to go really deep into the playoffs? Like really go to a Stanley Cup with those two in goal? And I do have questions about that. I would like to see Carolina improve in goal a little bit, but they're certainly still going to be a really good team this year. Do I see Carter Hart get a Vezina in the next 3 to 5 years? Absolutely, DMV. Absolutely. Carter Hart is going to be a Vezina level goaltender. He is Carter Hart's the real deal. Philadelphia finally has their goaltender, finally has their franchise guy, and I do think Carter Hart wins at least one Vezina trophy in his career, and I think he very well could do it in the next 3 to 5 years. Absolutely. Hey, Sal, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you stopping in. Thank you to all of you for watching. I really, really appreciate so many people here being a part of this stream and talking about all these things hockey. I've gone over a good amount of things so far. We are closing in on the 1 hour mark here, so I'm gonna wrap things up within the next 15 minutes or so. But yeah, I mean, whatever you guys want to talk about in the chat, we're just kind of doing a discussion here, talking about a bunch of different things that you guys are bringing up, and it's honestly been a lot of fun. Hey, Brody's here. What is going on, Brody? Welcome to the stream, man. Thank you so much for stopping in. Really, really appreciate it. Glad to have you here as always. Yeah, I mean, Malcolm Subban and Colin D'Elia are barely even belong in the NHL. Never mind starting. Neither of them are starting NHL goaltenders. I don't even think they're fringe NHLers at best, in my opinion. So I really Chicago's got to do something about their goaltending before they become a competitive team again. they need to find a goaltender who's actually a starting goaltender. Yeah, definitely a possibility, DMV, for sure. How long have I been watching hockey? I've been watching hockey since as long as I can remember, since I was born. My dad's a huge hockey fan. My grandfather's a big hockey fan as well. So I was born born into hockey without a doubt. And I've been watching it since I could understand what hockey was. And it's always been my number one favorite sport. King, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Um, yeah, I mean, D Wade, I think Vegas is an up or down team, but I'm not worried about their goaltending. They've got one of, if not the best goaltending duos in the entire NHL. Fleury and Leonard are both top 15 goalies in the league, and they play for the same team. Leonard has been kind of close to a top 5 guy over the past couple years, so I'm not worried about Vegas's goaltending. I'm worried about Vegas's scoring depth, because with Stastny gone, they took a big hit down the middle, and we saw we saw them struggle to score in the playoffs last year. Offense is the issue with Vegas. Yes, I do think that Marco Rossi plays for the Minnesota Wild this year. And I certainly think he'll be in the Calder conversation. I've said this before. I think Lafreniere is going to win the Calder this year. I think Laf is going to have a huge season, and I think he's going to have a really solid rookie year and win Rookie of the Year. But Rossi, I think, has a chance to be a really skilled guy for Minnesota, put up some big points, and will certainly be in the Calder conversation. Marc-Andre Fleury will get dealt at the deadline. Marc-Andre Fleury, I think, makes too much money to get dealt mid-season. That's a move that you have to make in the offseason. He's making like $7.5 million a year. No contending team can take on $7.5 million in a cap hit generally mid-season, unless someone gets injured and they put someone on an LTIR that somehow opens up that space. I think it's that cap hit is so big, it's going to be difficult to move. But we'll see. I mean, I don't think they're going to stick with both goalies long term, but I do think that they could stick with both goaltenders through this season, and go with a Leonard Fleury duo and try and win with defense and goaltending, kind of an old school way of doing it, but they could win with defense and goaltending and just try and move Fleury next offseason. The other thing is Fleury has a modified no trade clause. So Fleury, I believe he can submit, I don't have cap friendly up, so I don't know it off the top of my head, but I believe he has a fairly sizable no trade list of teams that he can reject trades to. So, you'd have to trade him to somewhere where he would accept the trade, first of all, and then you'd have to have that team be willing to take on a cap hit of $7.5 million. I think Vegas might be stuck with both of them at least through this coming season, and then might be able to do something next offseason. Or he goes again, as Salty said in the chat here, could end up going to Seattle in the expansion draft. That's a possibility, but we'll see. Oh yeah, definitely. If someone gets hurt, D Wade, then Vegas is definitely going down. If someone gets hurt, they're not an overly deep team, especially up front. So if they lose a center, or if they lose one of their big scorers, Vegas could be in trouble. Does Colin White have a bounce back year? I mean, yeah, I think he'll have a decent season. Ottawa's only getting better as more of these young guys come up and become NHL ready. Ottawa is only getting better, so I think you're going to see their numbers get better as they go along. Oh, you're right, Brandon. I completely forgot about that. Vegas, the expansion draft doesn't apply to Vegas. You're right. So that's interesting. They might be stuck with Fleury then. Honestly, if I was Vegas, I would petition to let them give up. I would petition the league and be like, let us give up Fleury in the expansion draft. Maybe let us straight up trade Fleury to Seattle. That could be something that happens. Thank you for bringing that up, Brandon. I completely forgot about that. Vegas doesn't, the expansion draft doesn't apply to Vegas because they're a new team. So, yeah, no, they gotta find a way to get rid of Fleury's contract. I think it's gonna be hard to do mid-season. They might end up trading him to Seattle. Then that would definitely be a huge trade. But they've got to find somebody to take on that Fleury contract because they are spending they are spending way too much money on goaltending in Vegas. Yeah, Ottawa's new uniforms are pretty nice, DMV. Not the reverse retro. I was not big on Ottawa's reverse retros, but their new main uniforms with the new logo, I do like a lot. Noah, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. The Winter Classic is canceled for this year, so there is no Winter Classic in 2021. But it will be back in 2022. So we're still a ways away from seeing another Winter Classic, but it's been postponed to 2022. Hey, Griffin, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Does Fleury retire soon? I mean, Fleury's still a good goaltender. He still plays well. So I don't think he's overly close to retiring, but he is up there in age now. What's Fleury now? 35, 36 years old, something like that. So he's probably got another 2-3 years left. Maybe he plays until he's 40. He's still playing. He's still playing really, really well though. So I don't see Fleury retiring soon. I still think he's got a few years. Of good goaltending left in him. Yeah, no Winter Classic this year because they can't have fans. Yeah, the NHL needs fans to have a Winter Classic because it's so expensive. If you don't have the revenue of the ticket sales coming back in, it's not even close to being financially worth doing it. So the NHL will have a Winter Classic when there are fans allowed in the stands. Hey, John, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Let me see. It has gone through. I did get the video, John. Thank you so much. That will be out in the next couple of days. So I really, really appreciate you sending that and really appreciate you coming on to be a part of the video and taking the time to do that. So thank you so much. And can't wait to get that out. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about the Leafs offseason, which even though I'm a Bruins fan and the Leafs are one of my team's biggest rivals, I am really high on the Leafs heading into this season, and I really, really like what they've done with that team this offseason. So we'll see what John thinks in the video that he sent me, and we'll get that video out here in the next couple of days. Yeah, I wish there was a Winter Classic too, Griffin. All right, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about before ending the stream. So the World Juniors in the United States are only televised on NHL Network, which makes me really, really angry because I don't have NHL Network, and most people don't have NHL Network. NHL Network is a subscription channel that you have to buy and pay for every month. The average person with a basic cable package does not have NHL Network, so I cannot watch any of the World Junior games. And most people in the United States cannot watch any of the World Junior games unless I can find a stream online or something like that. I'm not going to be able to see any of the games. I can watch the highlights after. I'm sure John is going to be streaming some World Junior games, so I'll probably be in his streams when he's streaming and stuff. But I have no idea how much it is every month. Matt, I have no idea. I've never looked into it, but I don't pay for extra channels like that. And I think the average person doesn't change or doesn't pay for the channels like that. Yes, Brandon, I am on Twitter. The link is in the description to the channel. It's Off the Wall Hawk. There's a link in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow there. I appreciate it. All right, see you, Isaac. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it, man. Glad to have you here. So this is the main point I wanted to get about World Juniors not being televised in the U.S. Is there's all this talk about growing the game. And everyone, hockey people are always asking, why isn't the NHL bigger in the United States? Why isn't hockey bigger in the U.S.? Why is it always, out of the 4 major sports, it's always number 4? And it's not even really close to the NBA or the NFL. You talk about growing the game. How about letting people watch it, first of all? Like, if you're a casual person just getting into hockey or just a casual sports fan, you're not going to pay extra for NHL Network. I'm as big of a hockey fan as you can be in the United States. Hockey has been my favorite sport my entire life. I mean, I run this channel. Like, hockey is my biggest thing in life now at this point, is being a fan of hockey. And I don't have NHL Network. I don't pay extra for NHL Network. I get to watch the games that they put on NBC, and I have a basic cable package. If you're trying to grow the game, if you're trying to expand your fan base and get more people into hockey, how about you put something like the World Juniors on a channel that people actually get? Like, what is the... Oh my... You're showcasing the best young players in all of hockey, playing for their home countries in this massive international tournament where you have a bunch of players who are either about to be drafted or drafted already, and a few who have already played NHL games. The best young talent out of, 18, 19, 20-year-olds in the world. You have this whole tournament showing these players, and you're not going to put it on a television channel that the average person in the U.S. can watch? Are you kidding me? And then you wonder why hockey isn't bigger and why more people aren't a fan of the NHL and a fan of hockey. This is a golden opportunity to get the best young talent in the world on television screens across America and get them excited for when these kids become NHL players. Or in the case of someone like Kirby is already an NHL player, and you're not even going to put it on television. You're not even going to put it on a channel that a normal person can watch. Are you kidding me? It's so stupid. You're going to put it on NHL Network where only people who pay monthly and subscribe to that channel can get it. And that's your, diehard hockey fans who have extra money to spend. And they're going to be the only people. They're going to be watching hockey anyway. People who have NHL Network don't need to be brought into the hockey world. They're already part of the hockey fan base. If you're trying to grow the game and make hockey bigger, you should be showing these games on national television on NBC. You should be showing these games at least on NBCSN and giving people with basic cable the chance to watch that and get excited about these players and get excited about the young talent coming into the NHL in the near future. But no, they're going to put every single game exclusively on NHL Network so nobody can watch it. Great idea. It's the dumbest thing. It's so stupid. So now I can't watch any of the World Juniors because I don't have NHL Network, and the average person in the United States doesn't have NHL Network. So you know what? They go and they watch football. Football season's still going on. They go, and they turn the channel, and they'll go watch the NBA, whose season is just starting up, and they're going to go and watch football. And then you wonder why football and basketball are so much more popular in the US. Well, people actually get a chance to see it and watch it on a regular basis, unlike the NHL, which you're lucky when NBC does one game a week, and then things like the World Juniors are only exclusively on NHL Network. Yes, John, I saw it on Twitter today. John Shannon tweeted out that the The World Junior Championships will be exclusively on NHL Network in the United States. Exclusively on NHL Network. I read that tweet and I was like, what? So now nobody in the US gets to watch it. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. And that is why the NHL cannot expand their fan base and why hockey isn't bigger in the US, because you never get a chance to actually see it. I mean, yes, Logan, you are very lucky that you got NHL Network for the year, because now you do get to see it. Now, if you have NHL Network, congratulations. You can watch every World Junior game. But for us that don't have it, yeah, I mean, John, I definitely think we need some sort. I would be totally be down, man, because this just, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. I don't know what it's on in Canada, Salty, because I mean, like, I know the Canadian channels, but I don't get them, so I don't know what it's going to be on in Canada, but I'm sure that it's going to be all over TV in Canada. I'm sure of that, but in the U.S., no, you can't watch it. Vaughn, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. Vaughn has NHL Network. Congratulations, Vaughn. I envy all of you that have NHL Network, but I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that they don't put it on television where a normal person can actually see it. It makes no sense to me. Yeah, Salty, if you live close enough to Canada, if you're like right on the US-Canada border, you might be able to grab some Canadian channels over the air as well. But where I live, I don't get any Canadian channels. I mean, I might be able to find some of the World Juniors games streamed online somewhere. But the fact that they're not going to be televised on NBC or anything really just makes me mad. And that's my rant for the night. God, all this talk about growing the game and trying to make hockey more popular, and then you can't even watch the World Juniors. It's just, it just makes me mad. But that's probably gonna do it for tonight, guys. I plan on this only being like an hour or so. I'm not paying extra for NHL Network, Bobby. I don't pay extra for any channels. I have a basic cable package, and that's it. I watch what's on NBCSN, and I watch my local team, my regional team, which is the Bruins, and that's it. Everything else I either watch through highlights or just see on Twitter, or like I don't pay extra for NHL Network, and I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that they would put the World Junior Championships on a channel that most people don't have. It just makes me so mad. And then they wonder why hockey is less popular than all the other major sports in the U.S. Well, there's a great example why right there. The average person, the casual fan, has really no accessibility to it. And it's just, it should be on NBC. It should be on NBC. You're telling me that USA versus Canada and the World Juniors wouldn't bring in some huge ratings on NBC? I bet you that would bring in massive ratings. But no, it's going to be on NHL Network, where if you're lucky, a few 100,000 people can watch it, and that's it. And you're missing out on millions of viewers across the country. It just makes me really, really mad. But yeah, I planned on this only being like an hour. We're almost to an hour and a half now. So if there's any last second things you want me to address quickly in the chat, throw it in the chat right now. And I'll try and touch up on that. But for the most part, that's going to do it for this one, guys. I will keep on, well, I got a bunch more videos coming out here over the next few days. I already have a couple of them all recorded, edited, and uploaded, ready to go. I will also be adding to that as well. Hey, Steele, what is going on? Welcome to the stream, man. Thanks so much for stopping. And hey, no worries. I appreciate you stopping at the end. Really appreciate it. Obviously, I'm going to get to work editing on my Toronto offseason recap, which John just sent me his video portion for, so I'll be working on that soon. All right, Brandon, cool. I will add you back as soon as I finish up this stream. Thank you so much for following. Yes, Salty, I will have at least one more stream before Christmas, So this will not be the last stream before Christmas. I'll do at least one more, maybe two, before the holiday. So I should be talking to you guys soon. I really appreciate all of you guys watching. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, new videos. I've got obviously some off-season recaps to finish up with. Also, I have a video on your Matt Dumba trade offers, which you guys gave me your trade ideas for Matt Dumba, and I obviously did another video like the Patrick Laine one using some of your trade ideas. So that is coming out, and I did a 5 players that could have breakout seasons this coming year video as well. Now, for that one, I didn't use anyone drafted in 2020 because they haven't played in the NHL yet. I'm looking at players who have NHL experience and I think are ready to take that next step up towards stardom. So that video will be coming out as well. So a lot of great content on the way, guys. And gonna just obviously keep it coming. Hopefully we get some return to play news by this weekend, but we'll see if that happens or not. But I'm hoping on for that to be at least showing some significant progress by this weekend. And that's pretty much going to do it. Hey, thank you, Steele. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I've got the new Black and Gold Bruins show. We talked about that early in this stream. That will be starting up probably the beginning of January. We'll be doing that. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I've got the Steel Flyers show as well, Off the Wall Hockey show. That's going to be starting on a more regular basis coming soon, probably the beginning of January as well. So a lot of great things in the pipeline, as well as obviously continuing everything that I do on Off the Wall Hockey as well. So that's pretty much going to do it for this one. I will drop the chat to I will drop the link to the Black and Gold Weekly channel in the chat one final time if you guys want to check that out. We don't have anything up yet on that channel, but that's basically going to be a weekly Bruins show that's going to drop once a week. And it doesn't have it saved. Never mind, I can't drop it in the chat, but it's called actually, let me pull it up here. Hey, thank you guys for watching. If you head out now, that's obviously fine. Have a great weekend, guys. Or I guess it's only Wednesday. Have a great rest of the week, guys. Have a great night tonight. Really, really appreciate you all being here. And I'm going to grab the link to the Black and Gold channel one more time. It is Bruins. It's a Bruins show. So if you're not a Bruins fan, obviously you might not be interested in it. And I completely understand that. This channel is the entire NHL, all hockey. But this show is going to be completely Bruins focused. But if you are interested in it, I'll drop the link one more time there in the chat. And that's going to be a weekly show that's going to start up at the beginning of January. So congratulations, Salty, finishing up with school after tomorrow. That's fantastic, man. Hopefully you have a nice break. And thank you to everyone for watching. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at OffTheWallHawk. The link is in the description. All of my links to everything, Facebook, Twitter, Steel Flyers page, all of that stuff's down in the description if you scroll down a little bit of this video. Definitely be on the lookout for the Steel Flyers show, the Off the Wall Hockey show. That's going to be a really, really big show covering the entire NHL every week. Going to be a lot of fun. And then I have the Bruins show as well with part of BNG Productions. Black and Gold Weekly is the name of the show. And that one's going to be a Bruins-centric show every week as well. So got a lot of hockey content coming your way, guys, on a few different avenues. I really appreciate Vaughn, Griffin, all of you that have subscribed to the new channel. Really, really appreciate that, guys, and can't wait to get the first show out there and ready to go. But with that, have a great night, guys. Have a great rest of your week. I will be streaming again before Christmas, but if I don't get a chance to say see you guys before then, if you can't make that stream or whatever, have a great Christmas. If you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or another holiday, have a great holiday, whatever you celebrate. I just hope you guys have a great rest of the year. Have a great new year as well. And I should be talking to you guys again at some point next week. So really, really appreciate all of you stopping in and watching, all of you being a part of the community here. Huge thank you to Bobby for subscribing. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. And we're just looking to keep growing off the wall hockey, keep growing these new ventures, these new shows that I'm doing as well, and trying to just put out as much hockey content as I can and get to a point where this is what I do, and I really get to the point where I'm full-time hockey content all the time. So thank you guys again. Talk to you guys soon. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Both of those things help out so much and are greatly, greatly appreciated. And with that, I am going to sign off for the night. Hopefully talk to you soon. HGH, man, see you later. We'll definitely talk soon, man, for sure. And really, really appreciate it, guys. Have a great night.